Okay, hello. Good morning, good afternoon. We were supposed to play music after this. Let me start with the music. I like to start my show with the music. Where did the music go? Let's do this.
Lights are flashing, colors glow. Feel the rhythm, let it flow. Yeah. Heartbeat
Hello,
racing,
testing.
can't say no. Move your body, take it slow.
Everyone, welcome to the show.
Take
Coming.
it slow. Hands up
Yes.
high, we're touching skies. Can't stop now. It's do or die.
Hello and good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the Tokenize with Mahesh. Today it's a nice day, beautiful day, cold a little bit, 40 degrees here in Philadelphia, outside of Philadelphia. And looks like we have many people joining today. Welcome to the show. Sarthak joined as always. He's the first one. We have amazing show today. Today we are going to talk about smart contracts. We are going to talk about what smart contracts are, how to use them, why they exist, what's the best way to implement them, so on and so forth. This show is for you. Tokenize with Mahesh show. This is our ninth, I believe, ninth episode. Let's see. This is episode 9. And today we are talking about the in Tokenize with Mahesh, we are talking about smart contracts. And we will feature Polygon blockchain. If you are new to the show, you probably want to know this show is everything about tokenizes, creating, building, launching your own tokens. Token really means cryptocurrency tokens, coins, you can call them. So let's get started. If you are a regular audience, you already know you can ask any questions about this topic or any topic around tokenization. All right, let's get started. So, what are smart contracts? If you are following anything about cryptocurrencies and blockchain, I'm sure you are familiar with the smart contracts. So what are smart contracts? First of all, let me explain you that smart contracts are not paper contracts. It's a code. When somebody says what is a smart contract, it's a piece of code. So it's a piece of code that stored on a blockchain. It's a piece of code that's stored in blockchain. It can execute itself. That's the property of a smart contract. It's a self-executing programs, and they deployed on a blockchain. The idea of smart contract is that if there are two parties, let's say there are two parties and they have an agreement, whatever the agreement is, you can write that in a code and you can deploy this code as a smart contract on a blockchain, for example, Ethereum or Polygon. They are immutable by nature. So, as you know, if you have ever worked with blockchain, everything on blockchain is immutable, means you can only write. It's a write only. After write, once time it's written, then it's read only. Nobody can ever go and change or delete it. And that's why the trust comes from the algorithms in math and consensus using a smart contract. So there's no people involved. For example, let's say there is a smart contract that says if payment is received by one account, the ownership is transferred automatically. So that could be example of a smart contract. Everybody, welcome to the show. Looks like a lot of people joined us today this morning. My name is Mahesh Chand. I'm your host. And you are listening to and watching to, depends on what you're doing. You're watching Tokenize with Mahesh. It's a weekly live show. We do this every week on Tuesdays here on C Sharp Corner channels. And today we are talking about smart contracts. Any questions you have, just ask. Feel free to ask any questions about blockchain, tokenization, smart contract, or any other questions about career, job, whatever you have. We will take your questions in the end. So we just talk about what are smart contracts. Smart contracts are this piece of code that is stored in blockchain. It has some kind of rules and contract. It executes itself on the given conditions. In other words, that you can write a piece of code that first day of month 10 tokens will transfer from account A to account B. That's a one smart contract. Another smart contract can be that if my one account receives this much tokens or cryptocurrency, automatically there is some other condition can execute. So you can make these smart contract as big as you want, as simple as you want. There are multiple smart contract. So they live on a blockchain. That means there's no party involved. So what are benefits of a smart contract? In other words, why do we need a smart contract? If you And the smart contract idea was invented as a part of the Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum was the first blockchain. And you look at the world, look at the outside today. There's so many contracts we do every day. Everybody's working, doing a contract. If you are buying a house, you're going to a bank, opening a bank account, getting a credit card, getting a salary, getting employment, doing a project, anything you do, even you want to your house or kitchen, there's contract involved everywhere. And these are paper contracts. Nobody reads them. They're obsolete. Even if you look at your credit card contract you get, it has these, I don't know, 20 pages long, very tiny written. Nobody reads those contracts. If you want to sell something, you want to sell your old car, you have to go to a third party and do the contract, right? So there's a idea is that what if there's no third party involved? What if everything is done by smart contract code is written there? So if I want to say sell my car, or if I want, what regardless of anything you want to do, you can create this as a code and deploy on a blockchain, and based on certain condition that it will execute automatically. Think about escrow account. You heard of escrow account, that sometimes um, if you for you, I don't know, if you own a house, there's escrow account. So escrow account, what happens is that bank takes this money every month from you, put in this escrow account, and when your tax comes, the school district tax come, bank automatically pays that money to the whoever party is, right? So this is a example. In this case, bank is the middleman. Bank takes money from me, keeps it there. When certain conditions are met, then pays that money to will go to this account, blockchain account, and from blockchain automatically on the first day of the month that money will be transferred to the another account. This can automate. So that's the big benefit. So there's no cost. The cost is very small. It's just the gas fees and first time writing smart contract, and there are no delays. There's no third party involved, right? Number two is transparent. Since the code is publicly available and deployed on blockchain, and most of the open source it's open source. Also, smart contract code is open source. Anybody can go and audit it, right? So you can see that what's going on behind the scene. It automatically removes the manual processing smart contract. There's no manual process, and it can be deployed globally, right? So smart contract works globally. They don't live in boundaries. In other words, if you do a contract Every state has a different rule, every jurisdiction has a different rule in law. You have to follow those. But in case of blockchain, and they are global. For example, if payment, here's an example, if payment is received, then ownership is transferred automatically to this other account. So smart contracts do come with risk, and we will talk on this coming screen. We will talk more about the risk and problems with smart contracts. Um, if you do have any questions, make sure you have your questions. So ask your questions, because end of the day, we will take these questions. So how do smart contract work? The way they work is, first thing is you have to write a smart contract. A smart contract is a code program. So somebody who knows how to write program, they are the only one who can write it or understand it. You have to know the coding, you have to know the programming. You have to write a contract in a programming language. For example, Solidity. Solidity is the programming language to write smart contract on Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum or anything in the Ethereum ecosystem, EVM ecosystem, Ethereum virtual machine. So, for example, Polygon is a blockchain that is based on Ethereum. You want to write a smart contract and deploy on a Polygon blockchain, you will write on a Solidity. Now, multiple blockchains, there are so many blockchains are out there. These chains support multiple languages as well. There are chains they will support Solidity, Python. Some also support C Sharp, Neo and Stratus blockchain. They support C Sharp back in the day. But Solidity is the one of the most popular language. So hence, almost every chain in the EVM ecosystem uses Solidity. You can also use in Rust, right? You can write in Rust. Um, So first you have to write a smart contract in a programming language. Once it's written, you have to test it, audit it, make sure it's audited by some security companies. That's very important part. Then it's deployed on a blockchain network, such as Ethereum and Polygon. Once it's deployed, now based on conditions, you or anybody can build a DApp, decentralized app. Decentralized app uses APIs to call the smart contract on chain, and then does the transaction. So transaction happens, then smart contract executes. Blockchain validates and execute the logic behind the scene, right? So whatever the logic is in your smart contract, blockchain, that's what blockchain does. And once it's executed, then results are permanently recorded in blockchain. To do all this work, blocks, you have to pay blockchain a gas fee. It's called gas fee for transactions. Per transactions, cost varies from blockchain to blockchain. Ethereum cost is different, than Polygon is different. Some blockchains are costly, some are cheaper, some are slow, some are faster. So when you're deciding that what blockchain are you going to use for your smart contract, you have to think through all that. So we already had previous episodes covered this, how to choose a blockchain for your project. So if you want to go watch that, it's recorded in it's on our YouTube channel and also on C Sharp Corner videos. Thank you everybody joining. Looks like we have a lot of people watching this today. Appreciate the show. Let's hear a message from our sponsors.
Brew, what are you doing?
Just scrolling memes, bro. Killing time.
Wasting time again? You could be earning rewards instead.
Rewards? From memes?
No, from the Sharp Rewards app. It's got a quiz feature that boosts your IQ and gives rewards for every correct answer.
Wait, seriously? You get rewards for answering right? Exactly. Learn and earn, bro. Way better than memes.
That's it. I'm downloading it right now.
Everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the Tokenize with Mahesh show. Today we are talking about smart contract. And you just saw Sharp Rewards app, how you can download Sharp Rewards and learn and earn. Guess what? I just got a new credit card. And it's a Coinbase card, if you can see that. It's Coinbase. And any purchase I do, it gives me 4% in Bitcoin. How cool is that? Every purchase I do in this card, I get 4% in BTC. I I got 3 4 transactions on this, and I can also see BTC in my account. Very cool. Very cool. Good job, Coinbase. All right, so let's bring our screen back. Do. Okay, I always get this confused. There you go. All right. So today we are talking about smart contracts. So we covered what smart contracts are, why do we need smart contracts, and how smart contracts work. What are the different popular use cases of smart contracts? These are popular already. So DeFi lending is a big deal. DeFi is decentralized finance, means on blockchain. So this is growing big time. People are borrowing credits, putting on the DeFi lending. Trading is happening all the time. Second big use case is NFTs. And when I say NFTs, non-fungible tokens, don't think of those cats and memes. NFTs are, it's amazing technology, and it's being used regardless of not buying, selling, but it's being used in different ways. And I will share how Sharp Economy and C Sharp Corner are using the NFTs. That's pretty impressive how we are using this. DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. These are governance bodies for chain governance, token governance. Token issue investing is also on, is a big popular use case of smart contracts. So anytime you are issuing tokens or vesting schedules, they can all be written in smart contracts. Supply chain training, gaming, and earn mechanism a big deal also. So these are popular use cases already that use smart contracts. So don't think that smart contract has any one use case. It could be multiple. For example, you can have an application where you can put you can put some kind of rules. Say every time user reaches next level, they will automatically earn 10 tokens. This is also part of a smart contract. It will execute automatically, and the tokens will transfer automatically. You don't have to transfer manually. The blockchain will do that part. It doesn't have to be part of your application. You just have to call the API. What are major smart contract platforms? So these are, there's a lot. So there's so many chains out there. If you count total chains, probably hundreds. Good ones. There are probably thousands of chain, but if you look at the good ones, they're easily 50. Good ones 100, maybe 100, but 10 are really top ones. So there are, and this 5 are these top 10 right now, based on currently being used. Ethereum is one of the most popular, obviously, and one of the oldest. It's the first one came up with smart contracts ideas. Polygon is another one. It's popular for lower cost and faster transactions. BNB is another chain that's also retail friendly. Solana is one of the newer chains compared to others. It has high throughput, but it uses different programming model. It's not Ethereum based. It's a different chain. Avalanche is another one. It's modular and scalable. So there's a lot more chains out there. Depends on what you're trying to do. Mm, yeah, definitely. So today we learn about smart contract, what smart contracts are, why do we need smart contracts, how they work, what are some different examples of smart contracts. But smart contracts also come with risks and limitations. So think about when you have to use a bank to transfer money. Bank is the one responsible party if something goes wrong. Let's say you have a credit card and fraud happens. All you have to do is call your bank and they take care of it. Smart contracts, in other hand, is everything is on blockchain, so there's no third party guaranteeing. So if something happens, you write bad code. If your smart contract has bugs and somebody can hack into it, you will lose all your funds. Somebody can exploit and can drain all the funds. Upgradability also is a problem, right? So once a smart contract deployed, unless the way you define, you can upgrade it, otherwise not. And there are also regulatory concerns, which, however, in some it's getting better in the US. In other countries, some countries are still not supporting deploying financial applications using smart contracts. So how do you solve some of these problems? The best One of the best way to do is, when you are trying to deploy a smart contract, best way is try to find open source template. So there's so many open source template already there. For example, if you want to deploy a smart contract on Polygon blockchain, you're going to go find open source template that's being used by hundreds of people already, and it's already proven, and there's no hacks in there. That's kind of, it's already been audited. Those are the kind of templates you want to use. To take the template, make the changes, and once the changes are there, you want to go and audit it, get it audited again, and then you deploy it. So there's just still, I'm just making it look simpler. It's much complicated than that. So if you are trying to do something with smart contracts, you want to make sure you hire somebody or work with somebody who has experience in writing smart contracts. What is the future of smart contract? I think it's pretty well. There's so many things are moving on chain right now. It's just insane. Obviously there's a lot of wallets are being created. There's dApps being created. Even there are AI assistant contract generation happening for auditing. So AI can now use and generate contracts. There is cross-chain smart contract being deployed, means smart contract now can be deployed on multiple chains, and there's also they can talk to each other, and so on and so forth. RWA, real world asset tokenization, is a big innovation happening in last year or so. There's so much real world assets are moving on blockchain. Even stocks are being issued on blockchain now. There's fractionalized properties are being put on blockchain now. So this is a big area. RWA is a one of the most fastest growing fields in last year or so, besides DeFi and others. Slowly, blockchains are now getting into these enterprises now for different use cases, and there are dApps like gamification games and others that are very popular. Proof of ownership, for example, proof of authorship, experience on chain. These are some of the good examples of where smart contracts are being used almost day to day. Let's take an example. Okay, looks like something wrong with my screen. Let's listen and hear one more message from our sponsor, Sharp Rewards, Sharp Economy.
Rohan didn't change his routine, just added one habit. Amit walks every day for work, but today, every step earns him rewards.
For Meena, mornings are busy, but she never misses her quiz.
They didn't change their life, just added Sharp Economy to it.
Download the Sharp Reward app now.
Did you download the Sharp app reward now? By the way, I have Sharp Rewards app. I use it every day. It's pretty fun. Every time, I check every day how many steps I got today. I hardly get, I don't know, 2,000 steps a day or maybe 3,000. I don't walk a lot. So if you walk 10,000 steps, you may get a lot of tokens. And it has quizzes, it has challenges, it is getting quests, a lot of cool things in there. I do always try to get these quizzes and quests, and a lot of learning. I'm learning a lot about even history. Um, and there are quizzes like, depends on who you are. There's quizzes like smart contract, and there's NIL, and there's financial and all that. Very cool stuff. Go check it out. Smart. Um, let's talk about our next couple of slides left. Smart contract and sharp economy. So let me give you an example how smart contracts are being used in our sharp economy ecosystem. There are five different ways we are using these smart contract. Number one is rewards. So if you are on a Sharp Rewards app or C Sharp Corner, you can earn these rewards, right, by contributing. So you can write an article, you can post a video, you can do the live shows, what we're doing here. Anything you do, we have writing smart contracts, they will reward you token for the activities you do. That's called contribute to earn, right? Or participate to earn. We also have something called learn to earn. If you are learning, if you go to Sharp Rewards app or C Sharp Corner and you're learning, you're taking certifications, your challenges, every activity you do, you are earning these tokens. That's a smart contract. The logic written in smart contract, right? Skills on chain, that's another example. We are putting a proof of skill. So if you are learning, after learning, you're taking a quizzes, challenges, certification, we are putting this on chain. There's governance also decided on smart contracts, right? So our goal is to build the governance. In other words, if you have certain reach certain levels or you hold certain number of tokens, you can now participate in voting process. These are very innovative ways to get people involved in these economies. Lockup investing. So if you are early investors, there's a lockup period for team members, investors, and there's vesting schedule. They all can be put in sharp, in these smart contracts. In other words, you can say, oh, you are a team member, you're working on this C sharp corner. Every month you'll get that many 100,000 tokens. So this could be put in a smart contract. So smart contract automatically release and transfer those tokens to the contributor's account. See how cool and innovative this could be. And then minting and burning, right? So you can also have minting is obviously a smart contract. When you mint the tokens, you can also have these burn the tokens and supply limits. So you can create a logic in your smart contract that every time we get 1,000 tokens for in fees from people, we burn 50% of those fees we can burn. Most chains are doing that. A lot of chains like Binance does that, like Polygon does that. So this is kind of how some use cases of smart contracts. With that said, that concludes our show. Today's show, we talked about Sharp tokens and we talked about Sharp economy and how we are using the smart contract in Sharp economy. My next episode will be how to build a token utility. So when you are trying to create a utility of a token, how do you think about it? What makes sense and what works? So we are going to kind of almost like architect the whole token utility, and that's where you will learn next time. If you have some other ideas you want me to cover in this show, some questions you have, please do share. I will be happy to add more topics to this weekly show. So let's see if we got any questions, and we'll take a couple of questions. All right, yeah, I do. It looks like I was having some internet problems today. Everybody, thank you for joining and staying with me. It was in and out. So let's take one or two questions from people. Let's take a question from Deepak. Deepak says, what is the right moment to move from a traditional backend to a smart contract without slowing the business down? This is a great question. Smart contracts are not for everything. It's very important to know that. You cannot put everything usually when you need some of the use cases just on when to use a blockchain, what's when to not use a blockchain. Blockchain is not for everything. Blockchain itself is very slow. The way you can think of blockchain as a nodes running, and there's a consensus mechanism. So every time you store something on a blockchain, it's also encrypted, so it's slow, and it's called, you have to pay every time smart contract executes. So you have to think through all those, and it makes sense that perfect example is when there is a third party involved, where there's a delays, where there's a cost involved, there's time involved. For example, money transfer. If I transfer, say, money from US to India, right now I have to go to bank in person. I have to go to bank in person. I have to sign papers there. They send email digitally. I can check that. It's very slow process. Takes like half an hour, 1 hour to drive there. Then it's cost involved. I have to pay $50 every time I transfer money from US to India. Doesn't matter how much I transfer. Then the account receives in India, they also have to pay fees. So there's multiple fees involved. It takes a couple of days to get money there. See how much it's I'm sending one money from one account to other account overseas, and there's so much time cost involved. This could easily be done. It's already being done by using cryptocurrencies. If you have a cryptocurrency in your wallet, other party has cryptocurrency wallet, you can send that right there in a second. I just open my wallet, I take their address, I send, and done. So that's the kind of this is kind of use case makes sense. You don't move everything traditionally to smart contract. Smart contracts are only for certain applications and use cases. The one, for example, I just showed you. All right, awesome. Thank you, everybody. I will take one more questions. Maybe Rohit has. What is the biggest mistake founders make when designing smart contracts? Um, I don't exactly know. I wouldn't say biggest mistake, but there can be a lot of mistakes founders can make, and one of the mistake can be not understanding that flexibility of smart contracts and security of smart contracts. When you're designing something, it has to be designed in a way that it will may affect you a lot in the future. So that's kind of um, I would say is the no. If you don't have experience, make sure you spend enough time or have enough people expert reviewing and advising you before you deploy a smart contract. Because since on blockchain smart contract and cryptocurrency, you are dealing with almost like real money. So everybody's trying to hack into your money, right? That's and it's run on computers. So there's no third party involved. There's no if something is stolen, there's nobody going to give you money back. You cannot just call a number and say, bank, hey, my credit card got stolen. Give me can you refund my money? There's no guarantee. There's no insurance. There's no, if, it's on it's gone, it's gone, right? Sure, there are ways some blockchain can trace it and figure out and get some funds back, unless sometimes hackers are so smart they convert token from one cryptocurrency to other currency right away, and they transfer to multiple smaller accounts, and it's hard to trace that. So those are some of the things, but great question. I think we are good. We are done with our time. This was great show, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and sorry about the interruption we got through. My internet is slow today. But hopefully next week it will not be a problem. I will see you next week, same time,
Feel the
same day.